All right, boys, we are live. Go ahead and kick it off, Mr. Ludo.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ludo here with Murdoch, here with Mr. Remington. If you can see his profile pic, he's a fan of The Blacklist. That is a TV show you can catch at 6 p.m. Central on Fox. No, I'm just kidding. This is not that kind of AMA. Thank you guys all for being here. I want to make sure everybody knows that if you are currently listening here right now, we are doing a little bit of an extravaganza. This is actually, Mr. Remington is actually here joining us on our 10th AMA,
Yep.
which we are very excited with to see some more people streaming into the chat. We are doing a little bit of giveaway. So if you are currently here in the AMA right now, if you stick around towards the end, I'm going to take a screenshot of everybody who's here, and I'm going to pick 5 members. We're going to, in the announcements, check our announcements to make sure you understand the rules. We're going to post the link to this YouTube video. We're going to upload this. 5 of you guys who go to that YouTube video, like and comment, and leave your Discord name. Don't need your hashtags, don't need your ats, because that, YouTube doesn't like that. But leave us a comment, leave your Discord name, and we're going to give you 100 BUSD, 5 of you. 100 BUSD. 500 members, 512 right now. Very, very excited for that. So, with that being said, that's pretty much the housekeeping that we have today. I want to make sure we get to the AMA ASAP. We are 1 minute after 6 o'clock. We started the AMA here. We are joined by Mr. Remington. He is one of the spokesmen, one of the devs for a Horde fork. Mr. Remington, is it okay if I call it a fork? Would you yourself describe it as a fork?
Well, right off the bat, I want to thank you guys for having us on and being able to chat with your audience. Our dev is raising his hand in our main dev. His name's Deck.
There he is.
Oh.
Got him.
So
Newbie Kenobi. Wait, Newbie Kenobi? Wait a second. No, that can't be right.
No,
Deck.
It's Deck.
Deck is your guy.
Yeah.
Deck is my guy, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second. Something's not good. Newbie, real quick, Newbie, if you have a question, man, drop it in the AMA questions or the AMA chat, buddy. We'll get right to you.
So right off the bat, welcome, Deck. Welcome on, brother. I know you're traveling, so thank you for.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Aloha.
So right off
Monday.
So right off the bat, Luto, I wouldn't consider us a fork since all of our code is original and we built our own liquidity management system. So I would say we are based off of their foundational model and their LMS system, but technically not a fork since all the code is original.
Okay. So it's basically what you're saying is it's okay to draw inspiration from outside sources, but at the end of the day, it's all of your own handiwork.
Great. Trust me, this project is inspired by Horde and what they've done. It's a great model. It's been sustainable over a long amount of time. I've been in DeFi for years now, and you don't find a lot of projects that last as long as Horde has and has done as substantially as well as they have, with their investments off chain and on chain and things of that nature. So we draw a great inspiration from what they've done. So credit to them.
So you kind of beg a question there, just right here at the start. You said you've been in DeFi here for years. Do you yourself and then maybe Deck can kind of describe a little bit about what you guys have had going on in the past, in your time in DeFi anyway?
Yeah, of course. I'll start. So before DeFi, I was in traditional markets and in more centralized exchanges and markets of that nature. I've been in crypto for some time as a software engineer and as a market maker, and have built a great Rolodex of friends and people over the years and contacts. And then during the COVID 2020, I started to venture into decentralized finance. I thought it was extremely fascinating, and I thought smart contracts were revolutionary. And I was just fascinated by the whole thing. For about the past year and a half, I ran a smart contract audit company. We've been smaller. We've been a boutique style type of audit firm, security firm. And then just recently, all of my contacts and people I've built great relationships over with the past, year and a half, 2 years in DeFi, we create a one-stop DeFi shop that does KYC, anti-money laundering processes, KYBs, and smart contract audits for Web3, Web2, and we're a development agency We're based out of Miami, Florida. And also, I've helped build out mini trading bots and algorithmic bots over the past years, as that was one of the first projects I ever got into in the DeFi. So yeah, I've been here for some time. It's been a great, crazy ride. Seen lots happen, from the Luna crash to seeing what happened with BitConnect all back in the day, and what happened with Celsius. It just tends to get crazier and crazier, but it's
We
sure been
all
it's
experienced the crashes, man. I mean, I think everybody in here, at least at some point. I mean, if you're in here right now and you don't know what the Celsius crap going on and the Luna crash is, feel free to ask me in the general chat, and I'll kind of give you a breakdown. But it definitely has, as everybody here has felt the kind of pain that you're referring to.
Yeah, but no, it's been a great journey. Through the highs and lows, the relationships I've built. I've met some of the coolest people in DeFi. So really, network is net worth. So coming on here and chatting with you fellas is priceless. And from there, I'll let Deck talk about his background.
Real quick, before Deck jumps on, what you just said there? Did you just say network is net worth?
Absolutely,
yeah,
dude.
That, I'll be honest, I've always heard growing up. I've always heard from every aspect of my life that it's who you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never, and that's a pretty simple way of saying it. I didn't realize you could actually condense it further. Mm-hmm. Network is net worth. It's three words, guys. Network. Yeah. Okay, Dak, how's it going, pal? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, how you doing? Just been traveling for the whole day today, so that's why I was kind of late for the meeting.
How dare you?
And yeah, having the AMA, yeah, was we're in the airplane for the past few hours, so just been a lot of things going on, but it's finally settled, and now just chilling down here. I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about a little bit about myself. I'm the blockchain engineer. Been doing this in 2017. Actually, still working full time as a React and a Solidity smart contract developer, and also the engineer for DACT, which is like a Golang firm, or like basically like a consulting, a blockchain consulting firm. And I'm also like doing DeFi project on the side too. And I think a couple of people here probably know me since I used to do a little side project called Amino Finance, and some people I think follow me since that time. And it was like I mean, it wasn't like a great success, but it was just me by myself handling the whole project, from marketing, developing, anything. So I'm very like very excited, very enthusiastic in terms of like crypto in general, and just this time with the whole team, like a different team, and just like a more diverse and a very good amount of like network and the background. I believe that Starlink is basically the answer for the new DeFi 3.0 generation, where everybody can can make passive income and really understand the true nature of decentralized finance.
Yeah,
I
would totally agree with you, Dick. But awesome, thanks you guys for giving us a little intro on who you guys are, what your kind of experience is. So let's jump kind of into Starlink satellites. So I'm looking at the white paper now. So can we kind of start there, and I'll just have you guys kind of give a broad overview of what you guys are trying to accomplish as a protocol, and then of course how people make money by investing into what you guys have to offer.
Yeah, RM, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll start it off, and then we'll kind of hit the ball back and forth here. But Starlink right off the bat is we want to make a model, right? A foundation, a structure of something that would last long term, right? Being in DeFi for years, and you guys, everyone's seen all the DeFi projects that fail or only have short term success, right? So right off the bat, about 6 to 8 months ago, I'd say we started seeing how well Horde was doing. We saw that their model was substantial and would be a long term project. So we started to build out the code privately, because we built it. It's not a fork. It's all original. Beck built it with his own hands. And we started back-end testing it and things of that nature, right? And we realized, right, we didn't need to exactly reinvent the wheel when it came to this foundational model. But a lot has changed in the past 6 to 8 months comes to macro factors and the overall macro perspective of risk on, risk off for assets.
Right.
Deck, can you mute yourself? You're like playing with paper in the background. And
Having a Snickers.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I felt like I heard like stickers in the background. I was like, is there someone next to me?
Not sponsored.
So we decided, we're like, all right, how can we make Horde a little bit not better, because it's already such a great model, such a great structure, such a great project. We're like, how can we maybe make it more accessible, create a lower barrier of entry, right? So when Horde launched, it was $1,000 per plot.
Yep.
Right. $1,000 back then for people was, probably not that much, because ETH was up bigly. Everyone was doing well. We saw all-time highs. NFTs were selling for hundreds of ETH, right? We were in that bubble stage, right? We were at that peak of euphoria and craziness. But since then, we've seen an absolute drawback. Bitcoin down 70%, ETH down 75%. We've seen massive multi-billion-dollar companies become insolvent, freeze, investor funds. So we're like, okay, why don't we try to make satellites, as our version of a plot, as cheap as possible? So we decided to make our plot, what we call satellites, 250 USD, right? Because we realized that people nowadays might not have $1,000 to play around with, and we wanted to make sure it was accessible to everyone.
Sure.
And we decided to build on the Binance Smart Chain as well, because of there's no gas fees. It's a fast chain, and it's not like Ethereum where you have to pay $100 for gas, right? Where people just get wrecked on it. I've gotten wrecked on it. We all have, right? The front running bots and things of that nature. So that's what we decided to go with. And then we're like, all right, when we do our private sale and pre-sale, let's even make it a lower barrier of entry, and then give them what we call VEGSLS to buy, which they can only turn into a satellite, which isn't the native token. So it prevents dumping right off the bat, because only our pre-salers can turn those tokens into satellites. There's not native tokens for them to sell. So there's already like, I think 1,800 satellites bought.
Yeah.
So
man, I'm so glad that
version.
I'm so glad that you guys are doing that way, because Ludo and I talk about this all the time. Like, so often we find a project that we're excited about, they have this pre-sale, and the pre-sale does crazy numbers, and it's like, fuck, man. Well, we just, you know what I mean? Like, well, at this point, we already know what's going to happen, right? Everybody's going to get their tokens.
My pressure's gone.
Right. Like, it's
sad.
It sucks to see that, especially when it's something that you're excited about. So I'm really glad that you guys are choosing to go about it that way. And I believe that, I mean, again, I don't want to compare you guys to Horde, but what you guys are doing is very similar. And I think that Horde did something similar. I believe they had it where you could pay or you got like a plot for half price or something like that, right, during their pre-sale. But again, it was a way to take any sell pressure off the actual token, coming right out of the gate during launch. So that's awesome. I'm glad that you guys are doing that.
And we decided to go do that way as well too, is because with LMS systems, Deck can talk about a little bit of this too, is having a substantial amount of liquidity is absolutely key. And thankfully, we've raised more than enough to run it effectively for a long time. And we're like now months ahead, and we can start now kind of playing with different streams of revenue that we have lined up. So we're really grateful for how this has played out. Deck,
Sure.
do you want to touch on anything that I've missed?
Yeah, so I mean, RM is usually he's already covered pretty much 80% or whatever I want to say. But then again, I just want to emphasize the fact that the price stabilizer that we have in Starlink is actually on my own. So it's not like a copy and paste from any other source.
Sure. And
that's basically just my own work doing on the sideline whenever I'm done with my full-time job. So I take pride in that. I'm very confident that is we have their own they have their own place in the LMS system, and we probably not just gonna license it to any other protocol out there who want to keep their price being stable in any range.
Yeah. Okay. So cool. So that's how you guys are choosing to handle pre-sale. When you guys do launch though, and people purchase these satellites for $250 per satellite, what is the kind of returns that you guys are offering?
So I'll take that one, Deck, and then you can touch up on the details. But so right now it's 200 days, right? 200 days, 250% return. So you calculate that 2 per day, that's 1.25%. It's 0.25% higher than Hordes, but it's also 50% less on the ROI because Hordes is 300 days, 300%.
Right.
So that's, and if you buy now, right, in the pre-sale, there's only like, I think like less 1,000 tokens left, which is like what, less than 200 satellites left. You get, it's 125 BUSD right now for a satellite. So you would ROI in, let me do the math, 40 days, and then you would be up about 300%, 400% because of the discount on the pre-sale rather than buying online.
Right.
If that answers your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's see. So again, reading through your guys' white paper, where you talk about like the ecosystem. So it says, like you said, that SLS provides 1.25% return per day. And that decay range, right? So just so that people are on the same page, is that once you buy a satellite, that will continue to produce that 1.25% per day for 200 days, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same page there.
Absolutely.
Let's make sure that everybody's on the same page about something in specific, because I know that for anybody listening on YouTube or listening now, part of my goal here at the DeFi Soapbox and Murdoch's as well has been to make sure we only host quality projects with sustainability in mind. And as always, with that big buzzword there, sustainability, comes a kind of an antithesis to that, and that is Ponzi or Ponzonomics. Would you guys consider yourselves a Ponzi? I mean, at this point, Horde is kind of doing things, and I say kind of because at the end of the day, I mean, are they still required to have more investors come in order to fund the payouts? Would you guys walk me through exactly how you consider yourselves in reflection to that specific kind of definition?
Yeah, absolutely right. I think in DeFi we see a lot of Ponzi. You can make an argument that everything cryptos is technically a Ponzi, right? Because Bitcoin has to bring in new investors, Ethereum has to bring in new investors due to the fees for the miners and everything, but not as Ethereum to scale to POS. But for us, it's right now, you could define us as a short-term Ponzi into a long-term business structure, right? And we're getting to the point where we're very close to that due to the fact that we have great on and off-chain investments. We have great connections into hospitality structures such as restaurants. And then we have our own play-to-earn game, NFTs. And we're going to get to that point rather soon with this pre-sale where we're going to become a business structure. And of course, volume is key. It's substantial for a project. It's substantial for any type of business, but we'll not be solely dependent on it. We'll be having other streams of revenue from licensing our LMS, our trading bots, buying out restaurants, and et cetera, a whole Rolodex of things that we've really garnered a bunch of connections with over the past, 10, 15 years. So I'm really excited about it.
Okay. And I mean, obviously that, that's about as good an answer as you can imagine. At the end of the day, a project aspires to be completely self-sufficient, right? I mean, you never want to be in a position where you require people who are coming into the project as new investment, because I mean, then you're not doing anything for anybody. You're just being a leech. So, but I have to have a little bit of pushback here, because there are so many projects out there that have had a roadmap and they've had an idea of where they want it to go, whether or not that was actually going to happen, or whether or not they were genuinely willing to pursue those goals in order to fulfill the desire of their investors. Okay, so what steps are you guys taking to make some of these things happen? Like, what is the first and foremost thing? What's the first and foremost step you guys are taking in order to get away from Ponzonomics that are honestly just too widespread in DeFi?
Heck, you want to take this one? I'll let Dak answer this one.
Yeah, I handle it. So the way how I look at Starlink is we not an actual like I treat it like a startup, right? So the way how we look at it is we treat like a startup, and any startup is will have their own risk in a sense, because you know how the startup world is. That's basically what my word is. You can see like startup popping up, any new idea, anything they're raising money from VC or any different outsource of like funding, and they use that money and put it into work in a various way. And so for Starlink, the way how we look at it is we have to make sure the phase where we basically utilize the Tokenomics is basically we attract enough liquidity, right? So whenever we have enough liquidity and we have enough funding to kind of venture into whatever we are promising. So like we have our own trading bot, we have I have my hand into our MEV bot, which is like a sandwiches arbitrage bot, and we have our off-chain investment coming in with like a huge amount of like network from restaurant with like a different amount of APY. So the way how startup they're growing is by pivot and adapt to any new environment. So at this phase of raising money, we are still on pre-sale right now.
Mhm.
At this phase, we have to like get enough liquidity to move forward, and at the point where um, any step or any adaptation need to be changed, so that we have to pivot or adapt to a new phase or maybe a new or different tokenomics or structure that can actually bring in real revenue. Because end of the day, what a business is different from a Ponzi is how you bring in real revenue to the investor.
Right.
And so that compared to any other DeFi protocol out there, let's just take all of those as a startup, as a new company with different promises for the investor. And so I just want to let our investor know that investing in DeFi is already like investing in any startup is already like a risky business, right? And you have to know your own risk profile. You have to know, like, you have to do research on the team. We have to like really understand the whole macro structure of like how they can actually bring in revenue, like a real revenue, in order to make the whole project like have a long-term success, and in a way where investor can also enjoy the profit in the long run along with the team as well.
Yeah.
So
So-
yeah, like no, we don't want to like do any like false promise, but the way how we have our team in different avenue of bringing revenue for the protocol, like trading bot, MEV bot, off-chain restaurant investment, and then LMS licensing to different protocol in order to gain any extra revenue.
Okay.
And also our own play to earn game and NFT games and all those kind of things.
Now you mentioned,
And
I'm sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned, before I forget, you mentioned that before you guys start kind of delving into these ways that you have plans of generating revenue for the business, or for the protocol, you want to make sure that the liquidity is at what I would assume a sustainable level for your LMS, right? Now, what do you have a number in mind at what that would be?
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead, Deck.
yes, actually, right now we are at the level where we can pretty comfortable moving forward right now. So, and anything extra than whatever we're raising right now, because we're aiming for 2,000 satellite, right? And we already sold out about like 1,800. So we have only about like 10% left. And by 2,000 satellite is our just good amount of number for for liquidity, for us to move forward, and also for us to start utilizing all those liquidity that we just bootstrap from our investor and start making the revenue coming in right away.
Okay, cool.
So we are raising about like I think we are at about 150,000 right now, US dollar. So just you want to an exact figure about number or something like that.
Okay.
I got a question. And kind of as we continue to sort of dive into what you guys happen to be offering, are there any big name partnerships we should be aware of? I know that I before that we started, again, I want to shout out the guys who are able to hop in the AMA questions before the AMA begins. Lo-Fi, Peter, Jeremy, Doc, and Shadow. You guys were all here before the AMA started, and basically cut my workout for me. I mean, you guys are asking questions that are so solid that I basically just look through y'all's questions and make a spreadsheet, kind of make a roadmap of how we're going to ask these questions as we go. I used to have to work a lot harder. That was like 10 AMAs ago, but you guys have been killing it since then. So now my job's pretty easy. I just get the copy and paste. But like I was saying, these partnerships do you guys have any plans to partner with anybody in the DeFi space who might make this launch easier, or might be able to offer you guys some incentive for partnering with them?
Yeah, so thankfully enough, right, through my development work in the past years, I've grown quite close with Chainlink, right, integrating their off-chain data feeds into on-chain, their proof of reserve, which is new, and then their viable random functions. So we will be looking to integrate their services as well. I'm close with Zay Reyes and Mr. Collins, and they will be helping us out with marketing as we go along too, integrating those services. And those codes into the contract take some time, and they take a lot of cooperation, but I've done it in the past before. And then for other partnerships, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Obsidian Council, the KYC company.
Just kidding.
But actually, over the past few days, my development agency and I have been in partnership talks with them. So we're looking to we're really interested in them. We're actually looking to schedule an AMA with them coming up very soon. We're also been working closely with a guy named James Pelton. If you guys are familiar with him, we have an AMA with him on October 8th.
Also have no idea who this other AMA guy you speak of is.
Really?
Definitely. Of course we do. Part of my language. Yes, we know who that is.
and then of course with Crypto Nares and Crypto Sensei, I've been working side by side with him for some time, and he's a great guy over there. So we've been friends for some time, and then from there it is the snowballs. But we wanted to really try to we want to focus on building the project, with the back end and front end testing, making sure all the tech was in order, right? That's a huge part. Smart contracts are funky. So we wanted to really put it through some rigorous tests over the past 4 months, and then grow our community as organic as possible, and then attract people who were truly interested in the project, and then wanted to build a sense of community. Because in crypto, you guys all realize that community is everything. Back in about 2020, Chainlink ripped from about $1 to $50, and their community was probably the strongest out there. And that definitely had to do something with that. Of course, the services they added, but community is everything in crypto. So we really wanted to build it organically, which I think we did a really good job of.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward, let's talk about the token. Let's talk about SLS, right? So fixed supply of 2 million tokens. Now, I imagine that, well, you guys are going to be using an LMS type thing to keep the price like between a level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So question, is there, which I would imagine there would have to be a tax on the token to make sure that you can have people that aren't trying to swing trade, right? So is there a tax on the token? And then how is that tax broken down to benefit the protocol?
So the tax is 10%.
Okay.
So to the team, and then the majority of the rest go to the treasury, right? Because we realized that we want to feed this project as much as possible, right? We realized for it to be long-term substantial, that short-term, all of the revenue and profits going to have to go into the treasury, and then we can start expanding and then start scaling exponentially. That's the secret to DeFi projects. A lot of these projects have short-term vision, and they just focus on, taking profit or not really expanding. But we realize when we expand our treasury and when our revenue comes in from volume and off-chain, on-chain investments, then that starts to snowball.
Right.
That's how Ford has a total value locked of 20 million. Their liquidity management system has 2 million, and they're just keeping snowballing.
Right.
That's the secret right there.
Now you mentioned Horde, and obviously their token stays like right around $100. Is there going to
Mhm.
be like a set level that you guys plan to be at after launch, or what does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so our token will be 25 USD,
Okay.
and the price range would be about 24 to 26. We'll stay within that range.
Okay. And are you guys paired with stablecoin?
Heck,
Yes, we are paired to BUSD.
Okay.
Said
Cool.
he said yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Thank God.
Yeah, right. Oh, anything or everything being pegged to anything other than a stable coin, actually gives me anxiety.
Right.
yeah.
Murdoch, why don't you take the next question?
Okay, let's see. Now I assume that if we're talking about LMS, is that something that you guys have like hard coded internally? I guess it's a question more so for Deck, but is that something that you put together yourself? And if you could kind of expand on the actual like liquidity management that you're going to be using for the token itself.
Yeah, so simply put, I just say I do the LMS like my own way, but it's a pre-reactive thing like a dealer. Think of a dealer instead of like a buyback bot, because a lot of like I know a lot of like price stabilizer is basically just a automatic buyback. So anytime the price go below a certain range, the bot will buy it back to push up the price back, right? The way how my price stabilizer work is a little bit different. Is a little bit more reactive. So let's say think of a dealer who have some money and some Starlink token, right? The way how the price stabilizer work is whenever it go up above any range, that's when the dealer start using their own money in order to exchange the token and their BUSD directly with the trader or whoever trying to buy or sell the token, or whenever the price go below the certain range, which in here like below $23-24, again the dealer or the price stabilizer will start getting activated again and then start dealing with the seller or the buyer directly at that point, so that the price always stay within a certain range, and we'll also keep our LMS in like a very healthy pool in order to ensure a long enough runway, so that investor can feel confident in investing in us, that can sustain more than 200 days. And after the 200 days, if we are still here, the price, everything's still good, and that's when we know that we will be here for a long time.
Right. And I think too, I think one thing that Horde did really well is them launching the NFTs that essentially gave you multipliers on the amount of yield that you could earn, and you could attach those to a plot and things like that. I'm sure you guys are aware. Or do you guys have plans to implement like something like that as well?
Yeah, I actually already have everything in plan. That's just I have to wait until launch come out in order to push out the update, because if we releasing everything at once, basically we have nothing to get our investor excited, right? Because if everything just going out like we just pushing out update constantly, everybody just like, oh, it's just nothing for them to look forward to. But I already have our own NFT system, which is I can explain a little bit, which is a little bit different than a regular NFT system. I have 5 different tier, and then we have there will be a minting percentage, right? So it will be like like a common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, all those kind of things. And you will for you to roll or for you to mint any higher tier, you just have to be lucky, because basically the higher tier it is, the harder for you to actually mint it, because the percentage for you to mint is going to be like lower than the regular common one.
Okay.
And then that's when our NFT will be used for our play to earn games. So of course it's just going to be more update, and then an actual number of how everything's going to work. But then eventually NFT can be used for our Star Wars game, which will contain 3 different factions, and then whoever holder of the winning faction of certain week will earn extra yield on top of the regular 1.25 percentage that we're providing daily, and also they will earn a certain amount of percentage that's coming from our sale tax too. So everything we have in here, I already planned it out for at least our roadmap is going all the way until I guess March 2023.
Okay.
And hopefully, if everything go into plan, I'm pretty sure we can have everything coming out and then have constant update for our investor in order to be a part of our ecosystem. Because the way how we plan it for our ecosystem, that would be like so much more than just our SLS token.
Right. And I do. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'll hold that question, Murdoch. I was just gonna say that basically, especially with what you just mentioned about the whole, making sure that people are taking into consideration that this is in fact a community. Are you guys going to have? I believe you guys have a Discord. I believe that you guys have social media presence. Is that something that you guys are going to be handling? I know personally, just from hosting an AMA platform, these kinds of things can kind of get overwhelming. Do you guys have dedicated staff, or are you guys handling personally any of these things that have to deal with the social aspect of making sure your community feels heard and making sure that everything that is going on currently in DeFi as well as with your project is something that you guys are attending to?
Yeah, we have a rather large team handling our socials 24/7 around the clock. We have some people located in the Asian regions and in Europe and in the Northern American regions as well, because they're different times. You guys know that that time zones are a menace when it comes to DeFi. You don't know where these people are going to be at and everything. So we have a rather large social team handling all over our Twitter, our Discord, our YouTube, and things of that nature. And we actually look forward to hosting some other projects on our end, on our channel, for AMAs as well. We were supposed to host one today. We're actually going to host them tomorrow. But yeah, it's, hosting AMAs, we realize, being a project ourselves, hosting another project, it's so key. And I feel like a lot of projects miss out on it. And I don't know why they don't do it, because like I said, network is net worth, and really collaborating and integrating with other DeFi projects is absolutely crucial. Since we're in a place that is such an immature market and all these projects are very small market cap wise, and there's not a lot of them, that it's absolutely crucial that we all come together and work together to make something great and turn it into an exponential and scaling market where we can grow to become a mature marketplace where everyone feels safe to invest, and we provide safety, security, and transparency along with that scaling.
Yeah, and I think it's also, if you guys are potentially offering up your LMS as a service to other DeFi protocols or projects, like that's a great way to not only educate your community, but to generate more revenue for your protocol too, right? So I definitely think that's a great idea.
Absolutely. Before the next question, I would like to just answer some of the questions. And so right now, because the slow mode's killing me right now, Luto. I'm like trying to answer these questions and I have to wait 5 minutes and then answer the question and then wait 5 minutes. It's killing me. So right off the bat, the pre-sale is live. It's selling out rather fast. There's only like 1,500 tokens left, so that's 150 satellites. Whitelist and pre-sale is the same, so it's still 50% off. I dropped the link in the AMA questions forum. And we're on Binance Smart Chain. So I just wanted to knock out those questions right now.
So you don't currently need to be whitelisted to actively participate in the pre-sale?
You do need to be whitelisted.
Okay.
I was trying to answer that question, but I had to wait 5 minutes.
Okay.
But no, you just head over to our Discord and drop your address. And it makes the process much smoother, because at first we didn't have a whitelist, and our site got rushed with people and actually crashed down our website because we had too many people visit the site. So we had to switch the whitelist, and it makes the process much smoother for the investors, and it's much more user friendly, and it's way better. So yeah. Yeah, a little story about that.
Yeah, will you go ahead and drop the link to your Discord in the AMA chat too, so that people can grab that?
Absolutely.
Because I was looking at it earlier and I was going to jump into pre-sale, but I didn't know how to get whitelisted. So now we know that. That's cool.
Yeah, and then if you guys can also just DM me your addresses, I'll
Okay.
add you to the contract, and I can let you know when you're good to buy and everything. So
Okay.
feel free.
So
Yeah,
after
I'm here
after
for you
this,
guys.
yeah, after this pre-sale sells out, when do you guys have a tentative date to actively launch and have the token launch?
October 1st.
Okay, so just in a couple of
October
days.
in a couple of days, October 1st, right? It's key. You roll out, you sell out pre-sale with momentum, you go right into launch, you got that buying volume, and then you're off to the races.
Absolutely.
Right? We can't drag it out too long. People start losing attention. DeFi one day is like 1 year, so you
Yeah.
have to roll into it.
So just looking at your roadmap here, I also see something is called the Galaxy Swap. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit and let me know what's going on with that?
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta go ahead. Galaxy Swap is basically our own DEX, and that you have to trade our SLF token on Galaxy Swap because we actually rewrote everything. The liquidity is still on Pancake, but we have our own different router so that we can prevent any trading bot and any because since we are the one who specialize in making trading bot and FPV bot ourselves, we want to ensure that it's going to be a bot free environment for launch. Because so many times where a lot of promising project get ruined by um, by like mempool bot getting in early and then dumping the whole thing at once.
Yeah.
So that's what the Galaxy Swap for, because we have our own different router, and trading bot just cannot grab all the router from the Galaxy Swap itself, even though the liquidity is still on Pancake.
And
That's a way we just gonna ensure that the launch gonna be flawless and there's no bot, no people who's trying to like ruin the launch and everything, making sure everything can be running smoothly and stuff.
sure.
So
And are you guys collecting any fees from the Galaxy Swap?
no, we don't. For now, we don't. But then eventually, if any project who want to, ensure that their launch can be, bot free and doesn't have any interference with like sniping bot, MEV bot, sandwich bot, they can definitely contact us. We can get their token reroute through our router, and then also can make their they make their launch flawless. And maybe charging them with a fee. I haven't even think about it yet, but that's maybe something in along the way our mind that if somebody come up and come talk to us about it, that they want to like trade on Galaxy Swap, we can definitely do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think we can go ahead. I think that's mainly the questions that I wanted, but what I would like to do is kind of go through some of the AMA questions and try to find some that we haven't necessarily answered yet. I tried to do my best to answer a lot of the questions already, but let me just go ahead and
Keith just said, "Let me buy without whitelist." I think that's kind of what they're going for, Keith. They didn't necessarily want a whitelist. They wanted to make sure that it was open to the public. But kudos to you for going ahead and buying in. So you got that going for you.
That's never a problem. We like that.
yeah, right. And so assuming that this AMA for you guys as far as marketing is a complete flop, at the very least you had Keith buy in to get a plot, perhaps. So
very cool. Let's see
here.
So there was a question in there. If you don't mind me going ahead and
yeah, please.
Here I get the AMA chat and the AMA questions confused. It's okay.
Yeah. AMA questions, yeah. Well, like I said, I made a very, very substantial kind of big list from things that are going on. So, but go ahead. Tell me what you see.
So right off the bat, I have to address Pocket Aces. Okay. You said hospitality restaurant scares me. Seems like an odd way to go, as this is an industry seeing a really large pullbacks and not seeing a whole lot of growth yet. Question mark. So right off the bat, two question marks means you must be really, really interested in this, which I love it. Also, you're added to the whitelist. I got your wallet, so you can now buy. So, sorry, I had to add that in there. I'm having too much fun. So right off the bat, right? So when it comes to hospitality and restaurants, right, we have East Coast operators who have been in the game now for about 20 to 25 years, right? Actually woke up to a call this morning from a broker in Florida offering up 2 sushi restaurants, single, multi-locations, same family. So we have a very strict criteria of what we look for, right? And we actually have a really good blueprint of what we want. COVID has given us a blueprint of what restaurants we want to purchase and how their cash flow was during that year, right? Over the years, I've got, I mean, like I said, network is everything. When it comes to you guys, your personal business, when you grow your network, it's an endless snowball of things that can happen, right? I have great relationships with brokers in the East Coast, especially in the West Coast, right? There's so many sushi restaurants in LA and stuff of that nature, but we're focused on the East Coast right now. But in 2020, when we're looking for our criteria, we're looking for absentee owners, we're looking for massive staff, massive back house employees, mini chefs, right? And it's totally able to be run hands off, right? And it has tremendous cash flow, and they also have great financing guys, right? We have a very strict criteria of what we look for. Of course, restaurants are kind of an iffy thing, but especially when they're like newer, right? I was talking to Ludo about this. They're newer, like 3 to 4 years, and it's like no. We're looking for franchises that have been around 10 to 15 to 20 years, things that are established. There's 2 important things when it comes to restaurants. The 2 most important things is A, location, where you're located, and number 2,
location.
Number 2 is loyal clientele, people who come after every weekend. You could have a slow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but if you're crushing on Friday, Saturday, game over, right? And sushi and Thai places, specifically what we're looking for, provide great APY. Great. So, this is going to be an off-chain investment, right? This is only going to be one of the ways we can bring in revenue while we have everything else going on. But this is a type of substantial and long-term investment that sees trillions and trillions of dollars inflow into. And we want to really expose kind of a smaller part of DeFi and everything to that world and make sure they can earn off of it through our connections. We kind of want to bridge, kind of a large market of trillions of dollars into DeFi. And you don't see it a lot, right? You don't really see that bridge of connections. So we really want to engulf and kind of introduce you guys to everything we got going on to make sure this product produces the best.
So as a business owner myself, if we're talking about a business that's been around for 15, 20 years, it has a strong clientele base, is doing well, like how are you going to be incentivizing people to say, okay, well, yeah, sure, I'll take on investment for what? Like, what does that look like on your guys' end when you're pitching like to invest into certain businesses?
So when we so you're saying like how do we buy? Like, what do you?
Are you just completely buying like a business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're completely purchasing the restaurant. We have some larger connections up the food chain when it comes to institutional and restaurant franchises.
Got it. Okay.
So,
okay.
Buying them whole.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Which is obviously pretty ideal. I mean, if you're ever going to buy a restaurant,
yeah, no part-time ownership.
Yeah. That just seems like more work than is necessary. Let's see. Yeah, Murdoch was saying. Let's see. Restaurants that are already established. You already answered that question. Come on, Sir Coffee. Gotta get with the times. For the restaurant investments, what was your minimum revenue? Oh, this is a good question. For the restaurant investments, what was your minimum revenue or profit benchmark before you decided to invest?
I'm looking for that one. So for the restaurant investments, what was your minimum revenue or profit benchmark?
Was there some sort of what you were looking for before you invested?
Yeah. So what we look for is 2 words: cash flow. Cash flow. Right. We look for cash flow because that's what we're going to able to produce and throw into the project and into the protocol. Right. Gross revenue, of course, it's ideal. It's more than their asking price, but when we see AP asking price, let's say it's $500K, we see cash flow sometimes in the sushi and Thai places that are 150K to 200K, and we see gross revenue around 750K, that's ideal, right? Because that cash flow is going to the owners, which would be Starlink, right? Which will go into the protocol, which will feed the LMS system, feed the treasury. So there is a wide range of it's kind of all connected, right? It's not like we're not going to buy a sushi restaurant where it's like $1 million asking price, $100,000 cash flow, right? It has to be on a relative range, as I'd like to say. If that answers your question, Mr. Nice Guy.
No, it does. It does. I think it should answer the question, Mr. Nice Guy. If that doesn't answer the question, if it somehow simultaneously answers for me, but also doesn't answer for you, then there's definitely a problem there to be had. So also, guys, as you guys continue to type questions, let's make sure that that these questions you're typing haven't already been answered. As we sit here, I think we've pretty much gotten to the more substantial questions that are pretty much pervading people's minds as we continue to decide if we want to invest in a project like this in a Horde fork, but also completely and utterly separate from Horde, have written their own code, have made sure that every avenue has been taken, basically guaranteeing that they're going to have community involvement in their respective, in their Discord. I know, especially. So, if this seems like a project that you want to get involved with, the links are linked in the future announcements, or rather, I should say, previous announcements. Make sure to take a look at those. Let's all hop in the AMA chat and thank Remy and Deck for hopping in with us today. At this point, I want to go ahead and make sure that there's a last call for questions. Yeah. If you guys have any burning desires, make sure that you go ahead and ask them now. We're just going to wait for a second for that to go ahead.
Well, I just want to give you guys kind of an opportunity. So, and I was talking to Remy about this before we started. But I was checking out your guys' audit. You guys are audited by a couple different companies. You are KYC'd, correct?
Correct. We have our multi-sig is KYC, by CoinScope.
Okay, cool. So looking at your audit, there were a couple issues, or at least one critical issue that I seen on the CoinScope audit. Did you want a chance to kind of chat about that? Because just doing my own due diligence, right?
No, of course, yeah, right. As someone who ran an audit company, I totally respect where you're coming from. Trust me, I've seen some crazy stuff as well, and I'm like, Billy Bob, what's this about? And they're like, listen, man. And then so I'll let Deck kick this one over, and he'll be able to explain everything.
Sure.
So do we get a new audit result yet? Because actually,
no, this was the past one about the liquidity. The liquidity swapping.
The liquidity transfer to the TIM wallet or whatever it is.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, that one is coming from the one part of the contract where whenever you create a node, it's called a node creation fee. So let's say it take you 10 SOS for a satellite. 2 of that is going to the TIM, 6 going to the reward pool, and 2 going to the treasury, right? And so the way how the contract take a look at that is basically they say, oh, where is those 2 token coming to the TIM wallet? So they mark that as their liquidity going unlimited time to the TIM wallet, because there can be, there can be like so many satellite, because every 10 token can make 1 satellite, and that's when is kind of confusing in a sense for people who take a look at our audit, because at the end of the day we lock our liquidity. We have to lock our liquidity anyway, right? So there's not going to be any point of transferring any liquidity around to the TIM wallet, because at the end of the day it's still going to be locked in a sense. So it's just a part where it's kind of confusing. I've been trying to talk to CoinScope about it, and we getting all the revision needed. But I'm pretty sure we are getting a newest revision, like the most updated one, which is I think should be sometime released tonight, that we can like submit it onto our the app and on the website.
Right.
And at that time, everything should be all resolved and all passed.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and like I said, guys, I just wanted to kind of point that out to me, because as I was kind of doing my research and kind of going through the typical hoops that I try to put projects through before I determine if it's something that I want to invest in. That was something that I saw. But thank you for giving us some feedback and recourse on what the plan is there. Appreciate that.
First, thanks for
Being
having us.
said, yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Remington. With that being said, I want to make sure that everybody knows here, guys, we will have this posted to YouTube probably within the hour, if I had to guess. The YouTube has been very, very beneficial to us in the last few weeks. We've been able to get them posted relatively quickly. I would like for every single one of you, if you want to win this 100 BUSD giveaway, you want to be one of the 5 guys or girls who is able to win such a giveaway, make sure you go to the YouTube video as soon as it's posted. I will tag everyone in the announcements. Go to the video, comment on it, make sure you comment your Discord username so I know who to reach out to. Make sure you stay part of our Discord so that I know that I can connect with you whenever that time comes. We're going to go ahead and pick the commenter, the winner, probably tomorrow, if I had to guess. That's usually a pretty good timeline. That way every one of you has a chance to go and comment because you've been here. I've went ahead and taken the screenshot right now. If you're here, you're going to be entered into that chance as long as you comment and like. Other than that, thank Remington, thank Dex so much for coming out tonight, guys. This seems like a solid project. Again, like I said, we only host solid projects here on the DeFi Soapbox. With that being said, Remy, Deck, do you guys have anything you guys would like to part words with our community?
I just want to say thank you so much, you guys, for having us on. Thank you for all the questions. I'm still looking through the list of questions. It's a lot. So come over to the Discord. If you have any questions, we'll feel free to answer all the questions you guys have there. And then, looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you so much, Ludo, Murdoch. Appreciate it. And hopefully we can jump back on in their time and post-launch and talk about this some more in a few weeks to a month now.
Definitely.
I'd love to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, again, I know Ludo said thank you, but thank you for me for coming on here, answering everybody's questions. And also, guys, when you see the YouTube video, if you could please like the video, obviously comment as well. But let's just try to get this video in front of as many people as possible. That way we can grow the members in this community and continue to have awesome turnouts for these AMAs. But other than that, that is going to be it for me.
Thank you guys once again. Thank you, Deck, for coming on. And I hope to, like you said, we can hear from you very soon. Otherwise, boys, have a great night, and we will talk to you all very soon. Thank you.